Shalom, shalom. This is Brother Amon Wakar. Back with another lesson, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Bahasham, Rakha HaKadosh. As always, double honors goes out to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, and we give peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. So yeah, I've been meaning to do this for a couple of days, if I'm honest. But yeah, there's a trend, man. It's not really a trend, it's actually prophecy. Right, this is where it shows you the scriptures don't lie, man. Alright, and now you have countless videos out there on YouTube of so-called Edomites, and not all of them are Edomites, I'm going to say this, but the majority of them are, right? Not all of them are Edomites, but some of them are, most of them are. We have to say that because, we know how it works with lineage, right? You are who your father is. So we go by the lineage, man. Numbers 1 and 18. Anyway, getting into this now. So there's a lot of videos about these, Edomites coming out now, crying and begging forgiveness for the things that their ancestors have done, and things that their people are still doing today. And it's all spiritual, man. Right? But for those Edomites that are doing all this, it means nothing. It doesn't matter what you do. You can come crouching, begging, pleading, crying. If you're an Edomite, you're going to be destroyed. And that's in the scriptures, man. But the point of this is that what they're doing right now is prophecy, man. Alright? I'm going to play some of this video. I don't want to play all of it, just the first part where this woman's talking, man. Right? Because look, at the end of the day, they don't understand, right, why our people, and not just, I'm talking about the people our people of the world, where we talk about being FBAs and wanting reparations and all this stuff. We're not on those things, man. Alright, but we understand why our people are talking like that. They don't understand it because they don't grasp the fact that their lineage of evil has accumulated wealth and prosperity and handed down wealth through generations because of what our ancestors did in the lands of their captivity, man. And we talk about Babylon because it happened a lot worse there, but it happened other places too. That has to be put out there, man, because sometimes these so-called African Americans think they're the only ones that were oppressed, which is quite ridiculous, man. But anyway, men in this truth that are in Babylon right now understand that that's not true. Right? We as a whole understand that's not true. But getting back to the point, they don't seem to understand that, they're living off the backs of our ancestors, man. That's why they can hand down generational wealth. That's why the whole system is set up for them. Right? So this whole, all the apologies that they can give is not going to amount to anything at the end of the day. Because there's nothing that they can do. The scriptures talk about, the blood cannot be the land cannot be cleansed by those who shed the blood, man. But it's like I'm butchering it. I have to get it properly. Now I've actually said it, man. I'm gonna have to get it right now. Salakia. Then I'll get to this video because that's just gonna annoy me. Let's get another page because I've got something on deck there. Hopefully that will get it up. Yeah, that's it. I'll get this real quick. So this is Numbers 35 and 33. It says, "So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it." Right. So therefore, right, they cannot pay us any reparations. There's no thank yous that is going to wipe the slate clean and all of that, man. It's blood for blood, man, out here. And we was talking about this on the night of the Pesach. You know what I mean? It's blood for blood, man. You can't. There's no getting around that. We're talking about the old path, man, and the old path demands it. You know, the old ways, you take someone's life, man, your life gets taken. Simple as that. And we're talking about murder. I'm not talking about righteous killings, man, because there's such a thing as a righteous killing. Right? That's not the same. When the scriptures say thou shalt not kill, right, it means thou shalt not murder. That's why people don't understand about Yahushua coming back and putting lots of people to death, and what our ancestors did in the scriptures, man, and what the Most High did, the King of Terrors and all of that, man. So anyway, let's get back to this real quick. Play a bit of it and I'll get the precepts, man. Now listen to this, what this woman's going to say.
My family and my ancestors, I want to publicly apologize to the African American community for our ignorance, our arrogance, our insensitivity to your cause, and for any part we may have had in the atrocities done to your people.
In this video, we are going to see that some white Americans, they started to feel what black people has been passing through.
And I'm going to stop this video, man, because this is just on my brain as well. It's like this lady here, she's got a lot of videos like this, man, just talking about all types of things, especially with white America and black America, so-called black Americans, talking about who the real Jews are and who the real Israelites are and all this stuff, so-called black Messiah, and she talks, all the videos are like that. So it's kind of funny because when I watch her, man, I just can't sense her spirit. You know what I mean? She's like, and I'm not talking about how she sounds either, just her whole, what's the word I'm looking for? Just the way she moved, just her whole spirit about it, just not screaming Jake to me, but I could be wrong. You know what I mean? Her countenance, especially, the way she just moves around and stuff, the way she just projects herself. But anyway, I just had to say that.
What their ancestors did to black people, now they are come out to ask forgiveness so that their generation will not get the curse of each and everything their ancestors did to them. Let's get to hear them, these different videos I gathered for you. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, then we'll come back with more comments, please.
Good morning. Thank you.
I will quickly say that her videos are good, though. I'm not going to show her like that.
Good morning. I am the wife of Pastor Les Robinson. Quickly, we've seen America rally behind court cases through the years over intellectual property and real property, oftentimes resulting in millions of dollars in restitution. We rally behind it without the blink of an eye because it's something that has been stolen and restitution should be made. We cannot forget or ignore the fact that we stole people from their native land. We stripped them from their families, from their culture, and from their birthright. Yet white America has turned a blind eye to this and say they should get over it, or it's been so long and it doesn't affect the African Americans today because it happened so long ago. On behalf of myself, my family, and my ancestors, I want to publicly apologize to the African American community for our ignorance, our arrogance, our insensitivity to your cause, and for any part we may have had in the atrocities done to your people.
May have had, that's crazy.
Humbly, to show my love and support, whether enslaved or free. We know that many African Americans have had inventions they didn't get credit for and therefore earned no revenue. Land was stolen from many, as in my husband's case. My husband has the deeds to these properties that state this land belongs to my descendants forever and ever. There should be no question of what should be done. His land has been stolen, his generational wealth stolen, the schooling opportunities he should have had stolen, his opportunity to grow up in a safe environment where his family could afford housing.
See, she told on herself, man, because she's talking about her husband, man. If her husband, if her husband was a so-called Edomite, she wouldn't have to stand there talking all this jazz, man. The only reason she's doing this is because she's happened to marry, I'm assuming, and a so-called African American man, an Israelite man. So that's how she's invested in it. That's why. These devils don't care like that, man. She's up in tears because her husband's trying to get what he's owed, man. Let's play on.
Stolen. He was forced into poverty, running to and from school, hoping to avoid getting into a fight or even getting shot and killed. This wasn't the legacy his grandfather left him. His rightful inheritance was stripped from him. Where is his restitution?
And it was stripped from him, man. His rightful inheritance is the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Shai, and it was stripped from him by Yahweh Shem Shai, man. This is why we're doing what we do, because we're getting that back, man. Alright, we want to be the ruling class in that kingdom, man, of the highest order, which is the elect. Alright?
There is no record of the properties ever being sold. If this were a claim about a white man's property being stolen, I'm sure the court case would have been resolved by now. He should have the right to reclaim financial compensation for what was left to him by his great-great-great-grandfather, Daniel Blue.
Thank you so much
so that he may pass it down.
Dear white people.
Anyway, this guy just drives me, so I'm not even going to play him, man, because he's on some crusade of doing nothing. It's just a crusade of talking. Like, some might say, well, all you brothers do is just talk, but we're talking spiritually, man. We're bringing, what we're doing is manifesting the prophecies, man, and not by our power, but by the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, man. This is it. What we're doing. We're the Lord's mouthpiece, man. And why are we out here? Because time is up. The Lord sends his men out, his prophets out to prophesy against these wicked kingdoms when the time is up, man. People have forgotten that. People have forgotten that. There would have been a time when they ran us out of town because they didn't want to hear the truth, because they knew it was the truth. Now they just don't want to hear the truth because, they're scoffers and scorners, man. Anyway, let's get into the scriptures, man. Where am I? Let's start right out here where I've got this already loaded, man. This is Job 20:4. It says, "Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment?" And they are hypocritical, man, because they always talk about how great they are as a people, and they're the, democracy, and we're the saviors of the earth, and they're doing nothing but destroy it. They don't even care about their own people, man. They'll destroy their own people to get what they want, man. Right? It says that though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds. This is talking about the highest of their people, man. Yet he shall perish forever like his own dung, which have seen him. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. Right. So this is going to be a time where he's not going to be around anymore. So this is in vain. Alright, because no matter what happens, he's going to be destroyed. Ultimately, he's going to go into 1,000 years of hardcore bondage, man. Getting terrorized on a daily basis, except for the Sabbath, man. And then, he's going to be mentally terrorized on that day anyway, because he's going to know that 1 day of respite is just going to 1 day out of the week, and it's back to usual, man. Business as usual. It says that I also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. And this is the point I really don't want to get to, but that's relevant. It's all relevant, right? It says his children, this is verse 10 now, his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods. Now they're seeking to please us with their mouths, man, right? But the goods will be restored. But we're going to take the goods, man. In fact, now I've said that, I have to get this now. Where is that now? Where was it? Let me guess it. I don't think I'm right, but I'm going to try it anyway. I think I'm wrong here. No, I'm wrong. Where is that now? Alright, let me just search it. It's easier that way. I'm not even typing anything. What the hell? I can't see the... It's Daniel 7. Don't know what I was going to. Right. This is Daniel 7:18. It says, "But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever." Right. So we're not waiting for them to hand it over. We're waiting for Yahushua to return, right? So he can lead the charge in us taking the kingdom back, man. We're going to take what's old, what belongs to us. We're going to take them as a possession too. So all this pandering, they're pandering, man. If they think standing up in a room saying "I'm sorry you are for what you did" is going to make any difference to us now, and there'll be Jakes out there that will be, what a wonderful woman. She's an ally, you know. She's an ally. Why? Because she's talking. She's just talking, man. All right. If she's such an ally, man, what's she doing for our people, man? Was she putting her hands in her pockets? Because listen, money talks, man. The scriptures say money is a defense, man. You know, Jakes want money. Jakes want positions of power in this world, man, and they're not going to be given that by the Edomites, man. Esau's not going to hand that shit over. He's already got it. What's he need to share it for? You know, this reminds me of the line in the Lord of the Rings when Sauron's talking to Gandalf, and he's saying about, if you've seen it, he's talking about how he's going to share it. You know, he's going to share the power of the ring with Sauron. Saruman is saying Saruman the wizard is talking about how he's going to share power with Sauron, and Gandalf says to him, listen, this guy doesn't share power, man. What are you talking about? You know, he's the epitome. You know, Esau Edom is Saruman. It's like it's Sauron, man. You know, that evil entity that's watching over the kingdom of this earth, man. Right? Because it's his kingdom right now, you know, Job 9:24 and all of that. So we're going to take the kingdom, man, and possess the kingdom forever and ever. We're not going to wait for them to keep it, because they'll never give it to us, man. Alright? Yeah, man, so I read that again, Job 20:10. It says, his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. Alright? Let's, hold on. Let's jump down a bit. Verse 15 says, he hath swallowed down riches, he shall vomit them up again. This is how you know that this is, you know, the Lord is a so-called dark-skinned man. Just you writing stuff like that, man. You know what I mean? It's like the inspiration that the Lord gave the prophets of old, man. It says, the Most High shall cast him out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of asps. The viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. That which he laboured for shall he restore. Right? And shall not swallow down, according to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein, because he hath oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away an house which he builded not. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly, he shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left, therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushua shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So when he's about to, you know, when he's trying to get everything in place for his new world order and all of that stuff, man, you know, when he's just about there, you know, the Lord's going to just take all that away, man, finish him off. So let's go here. Let's use this one. Amos 1:11. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Right? So you've not let up. Esau Edom has not let up, man. Right? Even now they're still finding ways, especially in Babylon, to destroy our people, man. Like birthright citizenship is another thing. So now they're trying to say that if you, just because you're born in America, you can't have a citizenship there, and that's only for the brown people, man, aka the Israelites, man. If you're coming from another country, like some West African country or whatnot, they can even use that for people who are already here, already there selected. Because if you really think about it on a technical level, if you're traced back to that slave trade, man, right? Because they have the records, we just don't. They have the records, but if they can trace you back to that, then they can say that any child that's born here after that, any grandchildren, they can get the fuck out. Really, they could say that to. They could say that to the ones if you was still, and if you was, let's just say that slavery happened 50 years ago, and it ended, and you were still one of those ancestors that came over in them ships, man. They could say, get the fuck up. So Esau's always thinking of ways to destroy our people, man. And now I've said that, let me get because they talk a good game, man. They talk about how they wanna they want to get along, and but really it's just talk. They talk a lot, man. But everything they do is behind the scenes to destroy us as a people, man. What do I want now? I'm going to actually read some of this first before I jump down. I was going to jump down to verse 21, but let's just read this. This is Psalms 55:1. It says, "Give ear to my prayer, O Yahweh, and hide not thyself from my supplication. Attend unto me, and hear me. I mourn in my complaint, and make a noise, because the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked. For they cast iniquity upon me, and in wrath they hate me." Right? And this is why when I get to what I'm going to get to, this is why there's a point to this talk, man. It says, "My heart is sore pained within me, and the terrors of death are fallen upon me. Fearfulness and trembling are come upon me, and horror have overwhelmed me." Right? Because that's what living like an Israelite is. That's what living as an Israelite is like in this world, man. It's worse in some places than others, man. But let's jump down, man. Start at 19, Psalm 55:19 says, "Yahweh shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, Salah, because they have no changes, therefore they fear not the Most High. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords." Right? Because no matter what these devils say, man, they just talk. They're not people of action when it comes to Jake. They just like to pander towards us and that's why they gave them these idiot Jakes out there in Babylon, Juneteenth, Black History Month and all this crap. And you silly Negroes accept that, Like, what's that mean? What does that even mean, Black History Month? What are you remembering? Because you don't even know your own history as Israelites, man. This is for the Israelites. They just don't know that they're Israelites. That's the problem. They teach you probably about all sorts of BS that you don't need to know. And they definitely bang on about slavery. And that's not saying you don't need to know that. But you need to know the reason why that we went into that. Right? Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, tells you everything about that. just got to pick up this book, man, and the Lord's dealing with you, man. You get that understanding. It reveals everything. We know who the enemy is. We know who we are. We know the past, the present, and the future. We know about our power. We know what our Savior looks like. We know what he went through. We know what he's going to do when he comes back. You know, we know what's going to happen regarding the deeper and more, the strongest of the prophecies, man. And I say that because, we have Jacob's trouble coming, and these are the worst of the things. The MOTB and World War III, man. And then the biggest prophecy out of all of them is us being redeemed into the kingdom, man. But yeah, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, man. So you're just talking, man. You're just talking. And all you're doing, really, because there'll be some Edomites out there that can't stand hearing that sort of stuff, man. White guilt, they'll call it, man. White guilt. And this is showing you, let me have to get this now. This is showing you that, their kingdom is falling, man. Because now they're in constant disagreement. Constant disagreement, man. Let's jump down to verse 26. Wait a minute. Wait, I don't think I'm in the right place. Yeah, that's it. Matthew, I was in Mark. Matthew, circa 12 and 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Right? So, that says it all, man. Because remember, they're in the spirit of Satan, man. They're the children of Satan. That's why we call them the devil, man, because they're the deceivers. Their spirit runs on Satan, man. There's no good in them, man. I'm have to get this real quick because I had it there. Alright, this is Sirach, chapter 12 and 10. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." So when they're standing up, they're telling you how sorry they are, and we're your allies, and we got to do this, and if our ancestors ever did anything, it's just pandering. Don't trust them. They can't be trusted. They've broken every covenant, every treaty, everything that they've ever, every deal they've ever dealt with us as a people. They've broken that. Because that's what they do. It says, though he humble himself, right, and go crouching, that's going down and bowing their head and saying, "I'm sorry for what my ancestors done. We had slaves, and it's regrettable, blah blah blah. Our past is regrettable. We wish you never like that." They don't really care. Actions speak louder than words, man. Alright, it says, "Yet take heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away." Alright? "Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place." And that happened. "Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked wherewith." So don't trust these devils, man. You can never trust them. It's a good job that we're not in the world like that no more, man. Because our people, they love it, man. All you hear, all you see in the comments is, "Yeah, she's invited to the cookout and all this crap." What are you talking about, man? The expectations for these Edomites when it comes to you Jakes is so minimal, it's crazy. They don't have to do much. If a so-called white person can sing a little bit, man, and all of a sudden they they say things like, I hear my people, but I don't see my people. Listen, let's be honest. I'll be honest with you. Some of those people like that are jakes, man. Right? But they don't know that. Anyone that's of the Paedo persuasion, right, the Caucasian persuasion, right, they have very low expectations from them, man. They can do whatever we do, at like 10%, where we do it at 100, and they get praised for it. And that's why they have to talk about, to cook out this and cook out that. Let's read on. It says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So we don't care, man. We'll sit back and watch you get played out by these devils, man. Alright, because that's what's going to happen to you. Right, now's the time for they're getting exposed, man. Alright, they're getting exposed, so it's not the time anymore for, falling for the okie doke anymore, man. Let's read this. Now we beseech you, it's like we call it, 2 Thessalonians 2:1. It says, now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, not Jesus Christus, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, nor be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, that as the day of Hamashiach is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So we're in that stage now where he's getting exposed, man. We don't believe you anymore, Esau. Alright, that time is over. Your own people are calling you out now. That's how bad it is, man. And that's how bad it is. I don't know if I got this. I don't think I did. Let me get this real quick. I'm going to wrap this up. Because, yeah, man, look, no matter what they do, there's no escaping your judgment, man. There's no escaping your judgment. Proverbs 11:21, it says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. And that's talking not just about the Edomites, man. It's talking about the heathens, the other heathens, and the wicked of our people, man. Alright? Because, saying that woman, I'm not saying she's not a Jake or she's a Jake, but let's just assume that she's not a Jake, man. All these videos she's putting out, I'm just going to say that, right? If she's not a Jake, all these videos she's putting out and all that, it doesn't matter anyway whether you're doing that or you're a Jake or not, but that's not going to help you. If you ain't an Israelite and you ain't about this, you ain't got no chance. And I say that because, just because you're an Israelite and you're doing this, it's not a guarantee, man. We know this. That's why we have to do what we can do. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, man. So it doesn't matter what you do, right? And I should have got this. I'm going to get this after. I should have got this after Sirach 12. What am I getting? Yeah, Psalms 58. Right? And 3, it says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, man. Right? Verse 4 says, their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth the ear, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. This is the best part. Break their teeth, O Yahweh, in their mouth. Break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Lord. But yeah, man, there's going to be plenty more of that, man. But until the time comes, until that separation comes where people are going to know who we are, and you're going to really see what these devils are about then, man. They can talk the talk now, it's all good and that. But for them, but when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, man, every man's gonna go his own way. Every people are gonna go with their own people, man. Because everyone, remember, Psalms 83, everyone's already against us anyway, man. So anyway, no one that was edifying, man. Yeah, watch that video, man. I just put it up against, white people not asking black people forgiveness. Too late. What's the point of forgiveness now? It's been too long. Forgiveness is not enough. We said, in fact, I need to get one. I don't know if I got it actually. Let me see. I don't know if I got it or not. Oh, I did get it here about the blood. The Father, yeah, man. Blood. It's all about your blood, man. We have to take it in blood first. Then we're going to take it out of your hides. And whilst all that's happening, we're going to take everything that you've already got, man. The scripture says that, right? I remember. Anyway, Lord, when it's edifying, all praises, honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakodash, and shalom to the next one.